When you think of the ultimate survival challenge, you think war, plague, the ice age. I thought I could handle it, but the moment my feet hit this sand, the wind was shouting one word: insignificant. My last known coordinates were 2025, and now, Giza Plateau, circa 2560 BC. The moment of the Fourth Dynasty, the time of Pharaoh Khufu, and the impossible monument dominating the skyline. It wasn't a ruin, it was a construction site. It was loud, it was dusty, and it was terrifying. My survival fantasy, my little pocket kit, my perfect plan died the second I realized the sheer scale of this civilization. I wasn't just in the past, I was a speck of dust in the middle of the greatest engineering project the world had ever known. Survival lesson number 1 in the Pyramid Age. This is not a chaotic war zone, it's a highly structured state. You don't hide from raiders, you hide from the government. The biggest threat wasn't a bandit, it was a bored, organized scribe who needed to fill a quota. If I had tried to escape, I'd have died of thirst in the desert within 2 days. If I spoke, my language would mark me as a foreigner, likely destined for the harshest quarry work in the south. My only chance was to blend into the most common class, the Egyptian peasant conscripted for labor. I had to quickly adopt the rhythm, shave my head, no foreigner wore that messy hair, find the rough linen, learn the patterns of the work camps. The Egyptian state, unlike Rome, needed people who were disciplined, not spectacular. My immediate goal? Don't stand out. Don't look too healthy, just get on the ledger. I was assigned to a work gang. The official title was Friends of Khufu, which felt a little ironic. My new life was defined by the sun god, Ra, and the weight of limestone. The challenge wasn't the whip, it was the relentless, systematic nature of the labor. We weren't slaves in the classical sense. We were corvée labor, paid in rations, beer, bread, onions. But the heat was a constant hammer. I quickly realized my modern knowledge of hydration, of simply drinking enough water and salt, gave me a massive unnatural advantage over men who were drinking heavy beer rations. But my modern strength wasn't enough to move the blocks. No one person could. This was the moment of pure culture shock, the collective spirit. Their system of rope physics, levers, ramps, and the rhythmic chanting, it was the ultimate ancient machine. I, the modern man who believed in personal achievement, had to learn to move as one unit or risk getting crushed. After months of labor, my hands were granite, but my mind was starting to atrophy. I needed out of the sun. The only way up the pyramid, metaphorically, was through efficiency. I started sketching in the dirt, simplifying the complex rope physics I saw. Not revolutionary stuff, just slightly better leverage, slight adjustments to the angles of the ramps. Things that saved a man an hour a week, or a centimeter of wood. One evening, a foreman, a man named Hori, who managed the block movement registers, saw my sketches. He didn't see an engineer. He saw a man who could save the pharaoh money and time. Hori realized that my foreign knowledge could make him look good. Suddenly, I was promoted. I went from the stone to the papyrus. I wasn't lifting the pyramid anymore. I was planning the logistics of the next block shipment from Tura. My job changed from survival by strength to survival by data management. I was safer, healthier, and fed better. But I was closer to power, which meant I was closer to falling. In the Ludus, failure meant a sword. Here, failure meant displeasing the pharaoh, the living god. And that meant complete erasure. My greatest survival challenge now was trust. I had to master their writing and their customs, not just for communication, but for loyalty. The smallest mistake in ritual, the slightest error in recording a ration count could be interpreted as blasphemy or theft. I spent my nights studying the sky, using my knowledge of modern astronomy to predict certain celestial events. Not to prove science, but to convince Hori that my foreign gods were in communication with the Egyptian ones. This wasn't science, it was a necessary performance of magical compliance. I survived the Pyramid Age not by fighting it, but by fitting myself into its most crucial gears. I learned to love the taste of their beer, the weight of the sun,
and the rhythm of the Nile's floods. I was safe, I was useful, but I was stuck. The most agonizing realization of my journey here. This perfectly ordered, glorious ancient civilization built on stone and faith was its own kind of unbreakable prison. The pharaohs' rule extended not just over the land, but over the very idea of time. My time machine was destroyed, my technology useless. I wasn't waiting for an escape anymore, I was waiting for the end of the fourth dynasty. Because in ancient Egypt, change wasn't swift. It was as slow and as inevitable as the building of a pyramid. And I was trapped right inside its heart.